Hey everybody, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. We are back in the Hyundai 85 HXA this morning. We're back on that electric trench job. Where we left you on this job was, well, right there. We ran this trench a couple thousand feet back into the woods. Battled some pretty large rock to get through it, back to a remote building site that has a beautiful view of the Ohio River, and we'll go back there and look at that later. But this morning, the electric company is supposed to come down, and there's a primary that runs right along the road here. The electric company is supposed to come down today and get everything in the trench. We left it on that side of the road until we could get the electric company up here because we didn't want to cut these nice people off on their driveway. So this morning we're going to go ahead and make the cut across the road and get this end tied in. Start getting everything backfilled, start getting it all cleaned up. Hop up in here. Get the AC going. It's supposed to be in the 90s today. Go ahead and get that fired up. We're gonna want that. Looks like Mike came and topped us off with fuel over the weekend, so we're good to go there. Let's go ahead and start digging, and hopefully by the time we get to the road, the electric company will be here and we'll be good to go. Am I the only one that runs AC with the cab open? I like the window open. Oh, a little spider web. I like the window open, but I also like the cold air. You know, it's tricky. Oh, a little throttle there, bud. If you remember from the last video, the property owner wants this trench far to this side, so it's kind of out of their way. So we're running with the swing boom out the side here. You guys have seen this before if you've been on the channel for a while. This is that chert rock we use for road base around here. It's a red rock. It's got some clay in it. It's got some stone in it. You guys can see it's got this kind of stuff going on. It works really well for road base. People always ask how we finish it off. You can see right here. We got the chert rock underneath for base rock, and then we do a nice clean crushed limestone to kind of cap it off. It's the exact same thing we're going to do for the YouTube job. There has been a slight change in plans. Initially, the power company, the engineer that came out and marked the transformer box to go right here because this is where the primary was at. But the guys that came out to actually install it this morning figured out pretty quick it's actually right here is where the primary line runs. And if you look real close, you can actually see the trench pretty well defined right through there. And it runs up through there. That means we got to come this way a little bit more. Not too big of a deal, but it does mean we are now going to be crossing this 3-inch water main here, and there's a fiber optic line right there. The guys are nice enough to throw down, the power company marked this fiber optic for me right here with the flag, right where we're going to go. So I did pick up my trusty friend the shovel here, and we got a little bit of work to do. We're gonna see if we can get across this water main without, you know, cutting off water to the entire ridge, because it feeds the whole ridge, including Dirt Perfect's house. Let's not get Miss Jen on our bad side today. Step one is going to be locating where that fiber optic and water main are actually at. We've got the flags, but you never know if that's where they are, and you never know exactly how deep they are. So I'm just going to scrape the grass off. We're going to find the fiber first, because it should be the most shallow out of the two. Typically, this fiber, they just run in with a small vibratory knife, and it's normally not very deep at all. I'm just going to scrape the grass off about, well, I don't want to go too deep because I got teeth on this bucket too. This is not the best bucket to be utility searching for. You know, you need one like Full Tilt Grading has, or like Mike has for his other machines. It's kind of a smooth face. But I think that's as deep as I'm gonna go, honestly, for that fiber optic. We're gonna have to do the rest with a shovel. So this is the name of the game when digging around utilities. You're gonna shovel for a little bit until you can expose about a foot, 16 inches on either side of where their mark is at. I hand dig down typically about a foot each time. If I don't find anything, then I'll take the bucket and scrape down, and then just repeat the process. Typically on fiber optic, the mark is fairly accurate just because of the shallowness of where that utility is located at. But eventually you'll get it located. There it is. You can see the black wire on the bottom. That's the fiber optic line, and then the orange line on top is the tracer wire they put with it. And once it's exposed, you just carefully keep digging around it until you get down to the depth you need underneath that wire. Now, you can flip the bucket around and be kind of fancy and dig up from the bottom side if you want, but as fragile as fiber optic line is, and as expensive and time consuming as it is to repair, typically you're just time ahead to go ahead and just hand dig it around. You can see the fibers exposed really well. We're good all the way around it, and we're pretty much down to depth here, but that water line is right in here somewhere too. So I want to expose that next. See if we can't find that without, you know, that kind of thing happening. Just gonna ruin the whole day, really. So I'm 4 feet deep where the water line's marked at, and I still haven't found it. I'm going to slide back that way just a little bit. See if I can't find it that way. I would rather find it than not find it, be deep enough, if that makes sense. I just want to know where it's at. We're just taking her slow and steady. We have a heck of a mystery here. Heck of a mystery. All right, there's the blue line there. Let me just set the shovel here for reference. We've been slowly working our way down. Bottom of the actual part we dug here is 3 feet. We go down to here. We're at 4 feet. I took a probe. Where did it go? Probe. Took a probe and probed this all the way to where I buried the handle right here, and I still don't feel anything all the way along here. I'm about 3 feet either side of that mark, and we still haven't found that water main. So I called the water company and I said, are you 100% sure it's there? And he said, pretty sure. So I told him how deep I was and where I was at. He goes, well, I could have swore that thing was there. So I'm not sure we have a clue at all where this thing is at. We know there's a water meter here, and there's tracer wire and the water meter from there to the house. but I guess there's no tracer wire in that section of main. But somewhere, either between there and there, or here and the electric primary, is a 3-inch water main that supplies this whole ridge. And we're just guessing. It's fine. It'll be fine. It's dry out here anyway. The good news is we found it. Here's the guess right here. Water company actually came out and found it for us, but 3-inch water main right there. And that is where I stopped digging this morning. So I almost found it this morning. I cannot believe. I mean, if I'd have taken one more scoop this morning, we would have ran right into that daggone thing. I can't believe how lucky we got. But good news is we found it. Times like these make me happy. I don't do city work. Those companies that do utility work in the cities, I don't know how they do it. You know there's unmarked utilities everywhere, old utilities, abandoned utilities. You know, I better. Upon closer inspection, that was the last scoop I took this morning before we waited and started looking for utilities. And yeah, I think we did get that this morning. So I sent some pictures to the water company and said, here's what we got. Hit it this morning. What do you think? And we agree. We think that is another abandoned line. There were 2 abandoned lines up here. And I explained this in a previous video, but I will go back later in this video and explain the whole water line situation. This main up here has been hit several times through development, and it follows an old county road that's abandoned through the woods. I'll go show you some things at the end of this video. But we've got to get this out here to the primary so the electric guys can do their job. As far as where the actual water main is, they're still convinced it's on their original marks. So they had to put roll pipe in all the way up that trench, which I can only imagine was probably pretty miserable. But they had to put roll pipe all the way up that trench because of the rock that was in there. And they've got a line run through it, and they're going to pull their primary down through there with their winch that's out on the other end. This is the old county road I was talking about. If you watched the previous video when we dug this trench, or a couple videos ago when we dug this trench, I talked about this county road. The water line situation out there, the water main used to follow along the top there when this was a county road. That county road was abandoned decades ago, but obviously the water main stayed there. It's a 3-inch water main. When they built that house, they hit this water main because, again, it didn't have trace wire and they weren't 100% sure where it was at. Now you can see those pieces of pipe there. When I went through and dug this trench, I found that old abandoned line that ran straight through that house. We walked back here in the woods just a little bit. They dug it up. They came back and they tied onto it right here. That's how they know the water line is right here at this stake, because they dug back and found it. And then they went back out of the woods. Back out of the woods. You can see where the house is at. And they rerouted it around this way. And And they came out of the woods right through there. You can see where that trailer's at. They came out of the woods right through there, and they rerouted it, and they ran it right through there. Way in the distance, that's the remainder of the old county road, but that is still currently a county road, and that's where the water main picks back up with the road. But when they dug that pond, they hit the water main again and then rerouted it around that side of the field. So we think, we're pretty positive, that line is the abandoned water line that they hit when they panned out that pond, and that the actual water main that's active is still somewhere in there. Good news is we were able to get our depth all the way through here. We never did find it, but I'm okay with that. We got our depth all the way through here, and now we're all the way out here to where that primary runs through, and we're gonna put a transformer right there so that new primary can go back and follow that trench all the way back to the pole barn. Hopefully that all makes sense. There's a lot going on with the utilities here, but I think we got it all figured out. Has been a slight change in plans because of the time of the day. Instead of digging up that primary, once you dig up that primary, you're pretty much committed to finishing that part of the job. Because of the time of the day, we'll save that for tomorrow morning, and we're going to go ahead and get the main trench backfilled. Be right back. We're using the bucket to backfill the beginning part, put the tape in, and then we're using the blade to backfill the rest of the way. Once we get behind this barn, we'll have to use the bucket for all of it though. I won't have enough room to sit there and blade it all. I can only assume we're going to be bringing the skid steer and ruckus rake up to polish up everything once it's backfilled. The goal right now is just to get it all covered up so they can get the power up there. It does push a fair amount of dirt. And once I get caught up to my tape, we just repeat the process. Easy peasy. You guys broke your leg. That's okay. Got more of a bipod now. Stable, but not very useful. You guys probably saw a little bit before I knocked you over on the tripod. We got a long way to go up these woods. I do not think I'm going to be able to get it all done today, which is a real bummer. Let's go all the way around with it. We'll throw it with the rest of them. So So it's the following morning. I worked yesterday. I wasn't able to go up there and get it finished, but Mike went up yesterday morning. He had an ICF pour in the afternoon. He went up yesterday morning, got the transformer box in where they made the connection on the primary, so we can check that out. He got the secondary installed, so we can check that out. We still have to backfill it. And he took the D4 and polished up the trail, the primary trench in the woods, so we can check that out. So step one here is going to be this rig. So like I said, we ended up getting some stone from down at the lot, hauled the skid steer and the AMI ruckus rake. You can see it sitting on the side there, up there as well. We were going to try to get that done, but the rain had other plans. Speaking of rain, this is just your gentle reminder, if you run a GoPro 8 with the GoPro 8 Media Mod, it doesn't like the rain. The GoPro 8 is waterproof, but the Media Mod is not, and if it gets too much water on it, all your clips for that day won't have any audio. You'll have to play some jazzy blues music to go with it and then voice it over, and that's okay. These were some 53s he had left over from another job. Probably about 2 tons worth of stone, which is just enough to kind of top dress where that trench crossed her driveway. We're just going to get this knocked out real quick, and then I'm going to load up the HX85A and get that hauled out of there as well, just trying to make the most out of a rain day. The one bad thing about working for Mike on my off days is you can't always guarantee it's going to be a nice sunshiny day on your off days, and I do try to make the most out of it if it's not the best weather. Nothing too fancy here, just trying to get all the trench backed up, packed up. Do a little road test. We'll back over it, see how she holds up. I don't see any issues there. I think that'll work just fine. Then we'll get the HX85A backed out of here. We'll drop it off at Mike's house, and then we'll finish this thing up with some big channel news that we are very excited about. You guys hear Stevie in the background? He's pretty excited about it too. Voiceovers in the rain with the roosters. What else you gonna do? Well, like I said, it's been raining pretty much non-stop. Not all day, every day, but a little bit every day. And look at you, you already got a raindrop on you. I will give you a quick tour of everything Mike got done the other day. I actually came up here to get some drone flights real quick because there's supposed to be a half-hour break in the rain. Sun is shining and it's raining. So no drone flight, but that's okay. Here's how this turned out. I kept saying transformer throughout the video. It's just a pedestal. I mean, they could put transformer on if they needed to, but it's just a junction for the pedestal, all closed up. There's just a little bit left open right here that's kind of shallow, so the fiber company can still knife their fiber down to where they have to go for their box down there. And once they get that fiber in, then we'll get that all closed up. I need to grab my tripod and take it with me. But here's how this turned out. Mike did it with the D4. I came up to kind of, well, like I said, get the drone flight, but I was also just seeing if it was as muddy as we thought it was, if we could get the ruckus rake up here, but there's just no way we could run a ruckus rake on this right now. It has been close to 2 weeks. Looks pretty good. Oh. We're not planning on doing any more power raking out in the woods part of it, just because it is the woods, but I just want to take a peek and see how it looks. Oh, this section looks great. Mike came up and did this with a D4, like I mentioned. Looks really good. Heck, it looks like a county road again. Well, that's a dead end for sure, but looks really good that direction. I did put a little water bar in right here, where there's that little ditch across there. It looks pretty good. That's the direction we came from. That pole barn's right up around that corner. We'll go take a peek real quick. Our transformer's sitting right there. And you can see the river through there with the ridges in Kentucky. Really nice building spot. All in all, with all the rain we've had, it looks really good, and the bulk of the job is done. We just have to get up here sometime when it dries out, get it raked up, get it cleaned up, some seed and straw, and that kind of thing. But the mud is what it is. There's not a whole lot you can do about it, but just kind of wait for nicer weather. Now, I teased you a little bit at the beginning, saying that we had some big news, and I'm not the clickbait type of person. I mean it. We got some big news, and we are excited. I want you to go check out a channel called Wild Roots. Link in the description. Gnats on my nose. And Mike, out of all the info cards, please remember this one. This is Chelsea's channel, and we are very, very excited about it. So if you go check it out right now, there's 2 videos up. They were both shot earlier this spring. She's kind of experimenting with it, seeing if having a channel is something she was even interested in. The first one is her first trip out this season, mushroom hunting. The second one was her, I think, the last trip of her mushroom hunting this season, and deep frying some morel mushrooms. So there will be, of course, there'll be our family trips. We just got back from camping. That'll be on there. Any kind of hiking we do as a family will be on there. But it's not just a behind the scenes of Captain Kleeman thing. This is her baby. This is her channel. It's what she likes to do in the outdoors. So it'll be some family stuff, but it'll also be her and her friends. It'll be some wilderness cooking, which is pretty awesome. She gave me a list of videos she wants to make, like specific topic videos, and it is awesome. It's incredible, and I can't wait to see where it goes. So go over, check out Wild Roots. Check out the couple videos you have up. If you like it, subscribe, hit the like button, leave some comments, and know there's already some other videos made that'll be posted on that channel soon. So stay tuned to it. We're very excited. As far as what's coming up on this channel, the next video will be back on the abandoned build property. We're going to go out and mark and blaze a trail back to the forest line for the ranger. We're also going to go mark our property corners, and we'll kind of explain the purple paint law in Indiana. We'll also explain how we find our property boundaries. And we're also going to take a water level, which is one of my favorite old school tools. We're going to find the location for our timber footbridge crossing across our little creek, and we're going to use the water level to determine where it needs to cross at. So it should be a really good video. We're very excited about it. I hope you guys stay tuned for it. If you're new to the channel, we're very excited you're here, and if you've been with us for a while, we appreciate all the support. As always, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.